Today's video is all about why pain at the back of the shoulder may ultimately be neck related. And in this video, I want to show you a really simple technique that can help you figure out where the root cause of that dysfunction is and treat it at the same time. And if you are a member of the channel, there'll be an extended version of this video where we go through a couple of different stretches that may also help make the back of that shoulder feel and function better as soon as possible. So let's get into it. G'day, my name's Grant Frost, and I'm an Australian musculoskeletal physiotherapist who's really passionate about trying to figure out the root underlying causes of all the common aches, pains, injuries, and dysfunctions that I see day to day clinically as a physio. And when turning our attention to pain at the back of the shoulder, something that I've had personally myself, this is a classic example of something that can certainly be coming from the area that it hurts, but there's also a very strong potential that that pain can be expression of something related to your neck and upper back. If you've tried a whole bunch of different stretches and exercises and you just can't seem to get that pain at the back of your shoulder to feel better, then there is a very good chance that that pain is coming from somewhere else entirely. And if you do find that some of these techniques genuinely make that feel better, then at the end of the video we need to talk about why we're actually having this broader conversation in the first place and what you may need to slightly change going forwards to make sure that this and this never cause you a problem again. But before we get into the next specific stuff, the first thing that we need to do in all of these videos is we need to establish an original baseline of how you feel now, so that when we do each thing, we can come back to that same test to see if anything has genuinely changed. So what I would urge you to do first is to do a movement or an activity that you feel alerts you to how your shoulder pain feels, and then immediately come back to it once we've done this exercise, which is basically just taking a ball, lacrosse ball, tennis ball, anything like this, and using it to find any specifically hidden spots in your neck and upper back to see if we can improve how the back of your shoulder feels in real time. So find yourself a ball or something similar and let's see if we can figure this out. So when looking to figure this out, we want to essentially go looking from kind of halfway down your neck all the way down to kind of the top half of your upper back towards the middle of that shoulder blade level. Like we always do with this exercise, we're not necessarily looking to pay attention to anything that hurts, although some things may be more tender than others. We're looking for things that feel genuinely stiffer, tighter, and more restricted, especially when compared to the exact same spots on the other side. So the best way to do this is if you take the ball, start right in the middle of your neck, sort of halfway down, just off to the side that you have your shoulder symptoms in. Just lie down on top of that ball. You can definitely do this standing up against a wall or sitting up against a wall. But in this position, we need you to kind of turn your neck and trunk to that side a little bit just to get some better purchase on the ball as it pushes into the joints of your neck. There's definitely soft tissue underneath these areas that'll feel tight, but underneath that tight muscle tissue are the joints that can often refer dysfunction to the back of your shoulder. So again, as we always do with this, just find a spot that feels thick, tight, restricted. It may or may not be tender. And if you find that difficult, essentially we're looking for the side that feels harder compared to the exact same spot on the other side. So for me, this right-hand side feels pretty soft. There's a little bit of soft tissue tightness over the top there. But when I come back across to this left-hand side, it feels genuinely stiffer and more restricted. The ball doesn't feel like it sinks in as much. Once you've settled on a spot that feels that way to you, we just want you to stay here. Just let the ball sink in, let it press through some of that tight, soft tissue. Your joints are like piano keys. We've got to push down through those joints. You can't gloss over them by rolling the ball around. We need to find a specific spot that feels restricted and just give the ball a chance to sink into that tissue and get those stiff, rusty joints to give a little bit. Once you spend a minute or two just letting it press in, then we can move it up a little bit or move it down a little bit and start systematically looking for those other areas that are also stiff, tight, and restricted. As you work your way down through your neck, and then as you get to that upper back and you include the rib cage in the conversation, here you can have your arm up and again, bring it up as high as you feel comfortable, and as soon as you feel you hit some resistance, you can oscillate in and out of that range, and as that tissue starts to give under the ball, you should feel like your arm goes further and further, and then you can keep working your way down, working your way out towards that shoulder blade. Again, anywhere that feels stiff, tight, and restricted, especially in this upper back, you can use arm movement to shear that tissue free. Now, while obviously some of the levels of the neck which can refer pain down to that part of your shoulder, we don't again want to think of you as a left or a right, but we don't just want to think of you as a neck. If you are quite stiff and restricted below your neck, and it's quite tight here, it can still pull a bunch of slack out of the system and ultimately contribute to that part of your neck becoming more overloaded and irritated long term. It's obviously great to know that if you hit one spot, you feel your pain decrease there, you free it up, that pain goes away. You know that that spot's potentially the hidden cause that you were looking for. But if there's other joints above and below that that are also restricted, then please get rid of those as well. Nothing should feel restricted in that area. The pain that you may be experiencing that's being referred from your neck to the back of your shoulder is a symptom of something else. So if we're not trying to improve how the whole system functions, not just that symptomatic area, then again, we're kind of missing the bigger picture that gives a lot of this meaning and context. And as we said before, once you finish working your way up and down there, hopefully you feel your neck is a little bit looser than it was before. Then immediately test and retest the exact same movement or activity that you did before that alerted you to that pain to see if anything has immediately genuinely changed. Because if it has, then clearly what you did was the thing that you were looking for that might be the hidden root cause of why the back of that shoulder hurts. But following on from that, if this area is the root cause of your shoulder pain, then there also has to be a very good explanation for why this part of your neck has become dysfunctional in the first place. So let's get to that now. So perhaps the most important piece of this video is ultimately why are we having these conversations in the first place? If you found a bunch of tight spots in your neck and when you free them up and you do genuinely find that your shoulder symptoms have improved, or if you do have some local tightness there, all of those things have to be there for a reason. And for most people, when we're trying to understand why a specific part of the neck has become dysfunctional, the best place to start is to try and think of the things that you do the most throughout the day. Now, most people intuitively go to the active, interesting things, lifting, moving, doing things. But in a way, those things don't tend to be the most likely causes because we're always moving through different shapes. We're never really in a set position for long enough for something to become overloaded enough to then express itself to the back of your shoulder. And as I just alluded to, generally, the things that we want to look out for are the more stationary shapes and postures because that gives time for things to eventually become stiff, tight, restricted, and overloaded over time. So for most people, that looks something like sitting. There needs to be a theme involved in a lot of the things that you do where you might be looking down enough to create a hinge or a local loading point through a specific part of your neck, and you're just there without realizing it for however long you're there for. In my experience, that can be the obvious one like using your phone, but it can also be arts and crafts, painting, doing puzzles. It can be reading a book. For some people who have a recliner, instead of sitting there up nice and tall looking at the TV, for every degree that you lean back and recline, your neck then has to bend to make up the difference so you can still watch the TV. And if we put you back into a tall position, you may be spending a lot of time watching TV through your feet in a neck position that isn't necessarily good enough. But again, if you don't sit very much, but you stand and look down a lot, again, that hinge is most likely going through the part of your spine and your body just isn't tolerating that over time. So in a perfect world, if we are ever to permanently fix this, get this to go away and have it never come back again, on balance, we need something about your day-to-day postures and shapes to get better, to be up taller, shoulders more comfortably back, take that specific hinge out of your spine and load things up more evenly. It may require you to change your environment to sort of drag you into these shapes rather than drag you out of those shapes more consistently. But the positions, the shapes, and the postures that you put your spine into the most throughout the day matter. Those basic daily shapes and postures accumulate over time, and you may never get to a point where you feel sore, but if you become sore, hindsight is perfectly clear. So if you're taking the time to resolve this posterior shoulder pain, but you're not taking the time to try and become more aware and improve the positions that you're in, then it may be genuinely hard for you to rid yourself of this dysfunction forever. But you can absolutely do it just by tweaking a few things and just tweaking your awareness of those things as well. If you're new around here, please subscribe to the channel. I post every week. If you did find this helpful, please consider leaving a like in the video, hit the hype button so this video gets out to more people. If you want the extended version of this video where we go through some stretches to try and improve how the back of that shoulder feels, please consider becoming a member. And of course, if you are struggling with any dysfunction, let alone posterior shoulder pain, I do online consultations. We can figure out what's going on with you in real time and give you some very clear things to focus on long term to make all this go away. But with all that being said and done, thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you next time.